All right, good morning, period five. Hola. So you guys are all done with your exam. Congratulations. It's got to be a big relief. Um, I'm happy for you. And yeah, you're probably wondering, like, what now, right? We have 3 weeks left, 3.5 weeks left of school. Um, so summer break has not started yet, even though probably is starting to feel like that. We are going to end up the year with one last unit. Um, you will see on your Schoology materials page that there are a few more assignments that are on there. And so I want to go over the unit that we're going to be working on. I always end the year with the same general unit, and it's a unit on American tragedy. Um, so it's a pretty easy unit, pretty non-stressful unit. But we are going to be doing some work, and then you'll be done. Also, a reminder that there will be a summer assignment for if you're taking AP Lit or if you're taking Honors English 12. So make sure you check with the school about that. So this document is posted on the update that I have created. So you should be looking at this. It's a 3-week unit. Again, we're exploring the theme of American tragedy. People often use the word tragic to connote something that's like, unfortunate or sad. The definition, though, that I'm going to be asking you to think about is much broader. And it actually goes back to ancient Greece, where Aristotle, was one of the first people to, kind of compose a definition of tragedy. So this PowerPoint, I'm going to ask you to look at it. It's also on the update. So if you can go through this, you don't need to take any notes, just kind of make mental notes. You'll notice a lot of the terminology is actually very similar to the definition that we're going to use. So, these core elements of tragedy are important to be aware of. These are the Greek terms that Aristotle used: hamartia, peripeteia, anagnorisis, hubris, and catastrophe. And some of these words we still use today, right? Hubris, meaning like when a person has so much pride that they can't even see their own weaknesses, and catastrophe meaning like this major disastrous event. And so obviously the original terms meant a little, something a little bit different, but you can read through the PowerPoint, please, and get an idea of, what the Aristotelian definition, right? Aristotelian coming from the name Aristotle, Greek philosopher. So what that, definition is. You're going to be contrasting that definition after you take a look at that to Arthur Miller's definition of tragedy. Arthur Miller is a playwright. He wrote The Crucible, Death of a Salesman. He also wrote this great essay called Tragedy and the Common Man, which I really personally like very much. This essay is on Schoology, and so you're going to be reading the essay and completing the study questions. So if I go to Schoology, you'll see here, this is where the assignment is posted. You're going to click on that. What's it called? The essay is right here. You're going to click download. You're going to open that up. And here it is. It's about 3 pages long, not even 3 pages. So it's highly complex. You're going to probably need to read it slowly, but I've also put some study questions I'm going to ask you to complete as you are reading it. So have these out simultaneously, and you should be completing questions. And these just kind of ask you to think more, closely about Miller's definition of tragedy. And you're going to be using this definition of tragedy to do the work, which we're going to talk about now. Where is that document? Here it is. So let's go back to this real quick. The essential question that I'm asking you to think about in this unit is, who is the greatest tragic hero? John Proctor, Jay Gatsby, Walter Lee Younger, or Stanley Kowalski. So we did read The Great Gatsby, and some people could argue that Jay Gatsby is a tragic hero. And you'll see, based on not only Aristotle's definition, but also on Arthur Miller's definition, that he does kind of check off a lot of the boxes of a tragic character. John Proctor is the character from The Crucible, which is a movie I'll be asking you to watch. Walter Lee is a character from A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry, which is another movie I'll be asking you to watch. And Stanley Kowalski is a character in, these are all protagonists, character in A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. So each of these stories, I'm going to ask you to choose two of three of them to reflect on this question, right? Which one of them really kind of best captures this definition of the tragic hero? And we're talking about Arthur Miller's definition, not necessarily Aristotle's, though they're very similar and linked in many ways. So by May 28th, that's next Wednesday, you're going to view the PowerPoint and read Miller's essay and do the questions. And then I'm going to post everything so you can get started as soon as you want. But you're going to view any two of the films. If you want to view all three of the films, that's fantastic. What I've done here in this unit is I've given you some choices. I've given you a recommended version of what I think you should watch, because these are all really fantastic films. But I've also given you a free version, so that way if you are not able to access the recommended version, which all probably will cost you some dollars to view, you can do the free version. They're not as good. One idea that I had is maybe you want to do a Zoom movie night or something like that with some of your friends, and you can split the cost for the movie. In fact, you could probably figure out a way to do the whole class if you want. Everyone can join in on your movie night and really save a lot of money. Otherwise, if you could do the free version, or you can read the original text. That obviously would take you a whole lot longer, I guess. But hey, if you're a bookworm like me, you may just want to do that. Or you may want to do all three, or the original text and the recommended version. You have a lot of options here. I'm going to leave it up to you. But again, the three texts are Arthur Miller's The Crucible. The one I'm recommending is 1996 version starring Daniel Day-Lewis and Winona Ryder. Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun. The 1961 version starring Sidney Poitier. And Tennessee Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire, the 1951 version starring Marlon Brando. There is the Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy version of A Raisin in the Sun. I haven't seen it. I've only kind of clicked around on it, so you may want to watch that instead. You decide. All right. So as you view each film, I'm going to ask you to complete this chart. The characteristics of the tragic hero. And this is also on Schoology. So let's click back over here to materials. Scroll down. And you're just going to choose choose two texts, so 2 out of 3. And click on this one. And I'm going to open the document up. And you'll see here it is. Here's the chart. So over here, you're going to put the character's name. So whether it's John Proctor or Stanley Kowalski or Walter Lee Younger or, those three. What I've done here is, and you haven't probably read Tragedy in the Common Man yet, but I've given you kind of 8 characteristics, 8 of the major characteristics of a tragic hero based on what Arthur Miller has defined it as. You don't need to fill out the entire chart. You can if you want, but I've asked you to choose at least 4 characteristics per the story and describe the extent to which the protagonist achieves that definition. So here are some of the kind of characteristics that a tragic hero exhibits. So the hero must be displaced from her rightful position and must attempt to gain her rightful position in society. He or she must not be pathetic, so they must have the possibility of victory. The hero must evoke a sense of fear in the audience, the thought of being torn away from our chosen image of ourselves, meaning that we can identify with the hero and makes us scared to think, what if that was us? The hero must demonstrate the indestructible will of, again, this is man or woman, to achieve her or his humanity. I think Miller uses man and his, so I changed it around a little bit because I'm so PC. And as a result, evoke optimism and reinforce the onlooker's brightest opinion of the human animal. Right. So ultimately, tragic heroes make us like see greatness in people. All right, so I'll let you read the rest of these on the right side here, but you need to choose any four or more and describe how that character, as you're watching the film, kind of captures that characteristic. And this will help you reflect on, like, to what extent is the character a real tragic hero? And when you compare that character to, like, Jay Gatsby or one of the other two, how do they rank up in terms of the tragic hero? So you have that one, and then you'll fill out the second. You will fill out the second boom characteristics of the tragic hero chart as well. So that's the work in the next 2 weeks. So that all is due by June 4th. You have the first due date here, and then I think I need to change that date. May 27th. Is that what I put on the other thing? Huh. Okay, well, I messed up on the date here, but I'll change that. It will be due on Wednesday. Yeah, and then there'll be a final. So, yeah, I'm not telling you what it is, of course, because why? But it will have something to do with this material that you're reading and the videos you're watching. So this is a fun end of the year unit, right? These are, again, I think these are all really great films, and I would recommend watching all of them. They're all American classics in their own right, and they all deal with this concept of tragedy. And yeah, ultimately, tragedy though uplifts and helps us see the brighter spots in people. So yeah, so that's it. This update will be posted shortly, and you'll have this. You'll have this PowerPoint here. You'll also have this document here to look at, which tells you what you'll be doing. Down here it does say that on week 3, during finals week, you will take the final. You will need to log in your Schoology account and compose a response to the essay question. You will receive the essay prompt once you log in the day of the exam, and you'll have 2 hours to complete your response. So it will be a timed piece, but you'll be able to use whatever notes you have and yada, yada, yada. Okay, any questions? Just kidding, you can't talk back to me. All right, cool. If you do have questions, just post it in the update and I'll be happy to respond to you. Wow, look at all this work we've done this year. That's just the surface level of it. Okay, cool. Well, I hope you guys are well and that you're looking forward to this unit. Yeah, movie night maybe. Do it. Okay, cool. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.